This time on ChinnyVision, 50 Amiga games in under 10 minutes. Hopefully. Yes, it's time for me to try a 16-bit version of one of these videos with the Amiga. So I'm going to try and review 50 Amiga games, all captured from the real hardware in under 10 minutes. And just for the record, all these games are captured from a 28 MHz Amiga 1200. And it's all been upscaled to 4K, so turn your display up to that. The countdown starts now. People complained Prince of the Yolkfolk didn't have many screens, but this compact adventure is the best designed and most attractive of the Dizzy games. Amiga owners wanted the blue hedgehog, but what they got was a ninja ant. But a product placement which was popular at the time, this doesn't quite hit the spot and looks quite cluttered on AGA Amigas. Footballers turned pundits Saint and Greavsie turn up on your Amiga with this lackluster football-based quiz game. Wing Commander was probably the first game that made you want to own a PC, well, other than Flight Sim. Unplayable on a 500, but this comes to life on a 1200 and above. But in 2020, you may as well play it on the PC. Diggers is a hugely underrated CD32 pack-in game. It can be fiddly keeping track of your diggers, but I sank many hours into this game when I should have been revising for my GCSEs. Charlie Sheen arrives on your Amiga via Navy SEALs. The Ocean game is naturally based around sections of the movie, as ever competently done by Ocean, but just lacks that certain something. Outrun might look the part on the Amiga, but sadly it doesn't play the part. The bombastic intro music is also rather interesting. Circus-based games aren't two a penny, but Fiendish Freddy is the top of the pile. Superb cartoon-style graphics made you go wow when you saw this reviewed in CMVG. Plays well on other systems such as the ST and Amstrad CPC, but the Amiga is the pick of the crop. Arcade Pool is an immensely playable game at a sensible price from Team 17. It has a myriad of options for either one player or multiple player, and lots of different variations on pool to play with. Lotus 2 is brilliant in every way. It's a genre-defining racing game for the Amiga that betters Outrun. Great as a one-player or a two-player game. You can even link up Amigas as well. A SimCity 2000 on the Amiga has serious speed problems unless you have an A4000 or better. The original is your best bet, and it's still a compelling offer. Not Edmund's psychic Mr. Blobby turns up with a gun in this reskinned Trolls game. It has the same sound effects as every other Millennium game. It's competent but ultimately boring. Manage and play your team to success with Sensible World of Soccer. It's simply the best football game ever published, and it always will be. Well, unless you're called Dino Dini. There are Doom clones on the Amiga, but they're uniformly hopeless. If your Amiga can support it, the real thing is available. The attractive if flawed arcade game Pacland makes it to the Amiga. It powers in comparison to the ports for the Japanese systems though. The Real Ghostbusters looks and plays like a PD game put together with a game construction kit. Avoid. Body Blows is a weak Street Fighter 2 clone from Team 17. Looks nice but has none of the playability of the original. Robin Hood Legend Quest is a 16-bit version of Super Robin Hood. Well, kind of. The gameplay has been updated and the zoomed-in view doesn't really work as well as the original Amstrad version. Alternative were licensing any BBC property they could get their hands on, and Doctor Who Dalek Attack is another example of that. You can play Tom Baker, Patrick Troughton or Sylvester McCoy shooting Daleks with your famous laser gun. There's some attractive end-of-level baddies, but that's about it. Throw it into the time lash. Supercars redefined top-down racing on the 16-bits. A genre that had become old hat gets a refresh. Once you've mastered it, move on to Supercars 2, which is even better. Formula 1 Grand Prix is a game that changed everything. a proper 3D racing simulator from Jeff Crammond. It still pulls you in today just as it did when it was new. Chugs a bit on an A500 though, and lots of disc swaps. Parasol Stars is Ocean's follow-up to Rainbow Islands. Purists like Mr. PSB may dislike it, but I find it a very playable game with a really good two-player mode. Theme Park on your Amiga. There's an A500 version which is cut down, but the A1200 is identical to the PC version. War has never been so much fun. Seminal Amiga game hated by the Royal British Legion, but ignore them. It's gorgeous, fun, taxing, frustrating, joyful, funny and poignant. No other arcade game manages all of that. A PD game? Well, yes. Gravity Force is the Amiga's answer to Thrust. It has a great two-player mode as well. Graham Gooch World Class Cricket is the only cricket game I've ever enjoyed. That's enough for you. Hated and mocked by many, Sensible Golf is an arcade game that is far better than its critics would have you believe. Came out years before the Game Boy version of Mario Golf as well. We're halfway through, so we're going to pause the clock and just give a general plug to ChinnyVision. We are the channel that shows games reviewed on real hardware. If you like this kind of thing, you can support us on Patreon. Click the link below. You'll get exclusive content and previews as well, and thanks to the people who are scrolling past on the right hand side who make this all happen. Rise of the Robots is the most overhyped and risible game in human history, which you can complete in short order by using just one move. Crazy Cars 2 is a game that looks nice, but it's virtually unplayable and rather empty. As ever, Titus concentrated on the looks and then forgot about the gameplay. The sequel to Elite took a rather long time to reach us, but it was worth the wait. A whole galaxy to explore in solid 3D. Would you be an honest trader or space pirate? While the game has flaws like the original, it's a unique experience. Asteroids for the 90s with Super Stardust. Only hardened gamers will ever complete this game. Freddy Hardest 2 elsewhere, but released as Guardian Angel on budget by Codemasters in the UK. It's a dull beat-em-up. Pinball Illusions is the final Amiga pinball game from Digital Illusions. Only 3 tables this time and AGA only, but features multi-ball play and a lush 256 colour graphics. Worms has almost become a dirty word among gamers as Team 17 wrung every last penny from the franchise, but forget all that, it's still a great game. Magic Pockets features the music of Betty Boo, and like Betty Boo, this game screams the 1990s. And you know what? The Bitmap brothers have managed better than many other platformers of the same era. It's rather splendid. Apidia may look like a Japanese shoot-'em-up, but this is a German game where instead of spaceships, there's insects. Rather good, and gets overlooked because of the lack of shiny spaceships. In an era of Guns N' Roses and Nirvana, elderly rockers Motorhead turn up in this beat-em-up arcade game. Competent with nice graphics, but some levels are poorly judged. And for a game about a band, why is the sound so appalling? None of the home computer versions of Afterburner are much cop. What you really need is the Mega Drive version. Hang didn't really make much of a splash in the arcade, but the Amiga version is an extremely faithful port. Is it as much fun as the GX4000 version? No, but it's still a very good play. Everyone loves Uridium on the C64, it's rather good on the BBC as well. This is an updated version with all of the niggles removed. Joy! Dangerous Streets was a packing game for the Amiga when the machine was on the skids. Seems like a perfect way not to get people to buy your machine. I wouldn't suggest Commodore were incompetent. Jaws makes being savaged by the titular shark look like an attractive prospect compared to this rubbish. Quack is a hugely overlooked platformer in the mould of Bubble Bobble. Attractive, fun, but why don't more people love it? Blood Money may be the go-to shoot-'em-up for this type of game on the Amiga, but Mr. Heli may not have the polish of that game, but you know what? It's a lot easier to get into. Nightmare doesn't live up to the promise of the TV show, where kids get to wander around a virtually generated dungeon. No, it's just a generic RPG game, and not a very good one. Rockstar Eat My Hamster sees you hire a pop band and then get them touring and recording and making pop videos with the aim of getting 4 platinum discs. you can live out all your pop fantasies in this Codemasters pop parody classic. Don't expect F1 GP realism with this arcade racer. What you get is thrills and spills in the style of Super Monaco Grand Prix. Chubby Gristle is an early 8-bit platformer with no place on the Amiga. Better by other games, 3D Pool by Firebird was impressive at the time. Jungle Strike is the follow-up to Desert Strike. It's more of the same and is rather good on the Amiga. If you enjoy Choplifter style games, then this is probably the best one on the Commodore platform. Fluid, smooth and fast, the best motorbike racer on the 16 bits, but remember to tweak your mouse sensitivity. Exile is an update on the BBC Micro Classic. There you go, by the seat of my pants, that was 50 Amiga games in under 10 minutes. You're going to start to think these things are fixed, but they are not. ChinnyVision is out every Thursday evening and bonus videos at the weekend at the moment due to current circumstances to help keep you entertained. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting ChinnyVision. See you soon.